Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I wanted to make sure I check in with everybody every month virtually. And we're going to have our February, not board meeting, District 5 meeting. One, I want to start off with the state of the district. I'm not sure if people had the opportunity to see some of the new things that we're doing and the work that's happening in APS. But before I move forward, I would like to recognize my colleague, Toten Pace, District 6 board member. He's on the call with us tonight. We also have the support from my board staff, and then also community engagement. Tamika Moore is with us this evening. So I'm going to kick it off for the sake of time with our state of the district. And here we go. Are you able to hear it? Okay, that's what I was worried about. Let me see what's going on with the volume. All right, let me try again. All right. Are you able to hear it now? Nope. Okay, let me do this. All right, try again. Are you able to hear it now?
Yeah.
You can't hear it?
Oh, you can't hear it? Y'all can't hear it?
Can you hear it? I can hear it, but can you hear it?
I can hear what you're saying.
You can't hear it. Nobody can hear it.
No.
Oh,
You may have to
I
stop
can-
and reshare so you can share the sound.
Okay.
I'm able to hear it.
All right, here we go. Let me try again. Can you hear it now? Could you hear
No,
it?
there's no voice
There's no
coming.
volume. There's no voice. I don't know what's going on.
I'm able
Keith,
to
can I send you the
hear.
link? Huh?
Yeah, let me try it and see
All right,
what.
I'm gonna send you the link. Hold on, let me stop sharing. 1 second. Keith, are you on Teams or not? Am I coming through email?
Yep, I'm on Teams.
Oh, all right, it came through your email.
All right, let's see. Can you hear it?
Welcome to the 2025 State of the District. I
Yeah.
am Erika Mitchell, Board Chair and District 5 Representative. As a board, our collective responsibility is to ensure that each student thrives and leave Atlanta Public Schools ready to continue the legacy of leadership that our graduates have upheld for decades.
From the legacy of civil rights leader, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the vision of renowned architect John Portman, the leadership of the first African-American mayor of Atlanta, Maynard Jackson, trailblazers including Tuskegee Airman Lewis Johnson, and the epic work of historical author Erika Mitchell, former Atlanta Public School students have left an indelible mark on Atlanta and the world.
For over 150 years, Atlanta Public Schools have served as the cornerstone of education in this city. Since its founding in 1872, with just 3 grammar schools and 2 high schools, the district has grown to a vibrant and diverse community, educating students from a wide array of backgrounds, cultures, and heritages.
APS and the Atlanta Board of Education have the resources and talent for our students to achieve greatness. We regularly engage with our school communities to receive feedback from students and community members while supporting our teachers and leaders to work together and set policies that position our district for the success we aspire to achieve.
Our board is composed of shared leadership spanning the entire city of Atlanta. Katie Howard, District 1, Aretta Baldwin, District 2, Dr. Ken Zeff, District 3, Vice Chair and District 4 Representative Jennifer McDonald, myself, Erika Mitchell, Board Chair in District 5, our newest board member, Totem Pace, District 6, and our dynamic 3 at-large board members, Alfred Chivy Brooks, at-large seat 7, Cynthia Briscoe Brown, at-large seat 8, and Jessica Johnson, at-large seat 9. In August 2024, the board unanimously selected Dr. Brian Johnson as our new superintendent. We are deeply grateful for his leadership and excited about the work we have already accomplished and the opportunities we have to achieve. Together, we will make Atlanta Public Schools the best urban school district in America. Now, it is my honor to introduce the hardest working man in Atlanta Public Schools, Dr. Brian Johnson.
Thank you, Chair Mitchell. I'm humbled to serve as superintendent and for the opportunity to build on Atlanta Public Schools' incredible legacy. I appreciate the board and the work that it does every day to support children. This year's State of the District is a little different, but more on that later. My first 100 days have been focused on listening, learning, and engaging about Atlanta Public Schools with students, parents, teachers, community members, civic leaders, and administrators, all in a concerted effort to discover how we make APS a system that each of us desires and knows it is capable of becoming to ensure that our children are poised to lead in the years that lie ahead. During these first 100 days, I have been drawn to many of the leaders whose shoulders on which I stand. 2 individuals who particularly stand out are Dr. Alonzo Krim, who's the former superintendent of APS, and Dr. Benjamin Elijah Mays, former Atlanta Board of Education chair and president of Morehouse. These men are giants in education and in the history of Atlanta. In fact, their words and the actions that they lived by inspired our focus for this introduction to the state of the district. Dr. Mays stated that it's not failure, but aiming too low that is life's greatest tragedy. As our district pursues excellence everywhere, we commit to this mantra being the only option for our children. Dr. Krim aimed for children of Atlanta to reach their full potential through what he called a community of believers. This community of believers meant that civic, philanthropic, and education leaders, as well as parents and everyone else, must be engaged in the process of preparing our children for success. In many ways, his tenure as superintendent focused on a back-to-basics approach. The district leaned into professional learning in the areas of reading and math. They focused on elementary curriculum development and what they called alternative education planning with an emphasis on career preparation. There was intentionality and collaboration between and amongst the schools. This back to basics approach focused on being one district with one goal to improve student achievement for every child. The desire to see Atlanta Public Schools succeed is evident in our community from all stakeholders. Now we must lean into what is working and strategically abandon what is not. We need our community of believers to excel and to ensure that every child reaches their fullest potential. I believe the opportunity before us is clear. We will build a solid foundation for every child. Last year, 36% of APS students were proficient on the Georgia milestones in the area of third grade literacy. The opportunities to improve are even more significant when we look at subgroup performance. Only 19% of economically disadvantaged students and only 23% of Black students were proficient in third grade literacy. For our English learners, only 23% were proficient, and for students with disabilities, only 11% were proficient in third grade literacy. We must intervene throughout the PK-12 continuum and find ways to expand early learning opportunities and the quality of our early learning programs. We must invest in and commit to continued training in the science of reading and provide high quality curriculum that prepares our students to succeed. We must also ramp up interventions for our secondary students who need the additional support. Literacy is a civil right, and we must set a solid foundation for every APS student. We will prepare every child for tomorrow. Our children are our future. While we are proud that APS has increased the percentage of students demonstrating college and career readiness, the access to programming varies across the district. We must also expand career, technical, and vocational opportunities for our students. We must increase access to advanced coursework. Simply stated, we want our graduates to have a certification or a credential or be headed to a 2 or 4 year college or university or directly into the workforce or military. We don't want our students to just graduate. We want our students graduating prepared for tomorrow. We will provide great teachers and leaders for every student. The research is clear that effective teachers and leaders rank number 1 and 2 respectively in improving student achievement. We must recruit and retain the best and the brightest talent to teach and lead our children. We have to provide our teachers and leaders with high quality training and support. I know we can be one of the few districts in the country and possibly the first in the Southeast to have an average teacher salary of $100,000 by 2030. As Dr. May stated, it's not failing, but aiming too low. Our children deserve the best in front of them every day, and we must be relentless in our pursuit of excellence in every classroom. We will develop a holistic approach to every child's growth. Our children are dealing with unprecedented external challenges that impact their day-to-day. We must lean in and provide our students with the mental health supports necessary to thrive in our society. To support the whole child, we must have resources accessible to address their needs. The pressures they are experiencing require all of us. We must also have robust extracurricular and before and after as well as summer school activities available. As a father of an APS student, I know firsthand that an engaged child is usually a more successful child. We must look and lean to partners in our community to help us provide targeted out-of-school time activities to support every child's growth. We must do all of this in an efficient and effective way as we work to right-size our school district and our budget. As enrollment has declined over the last decade, our footprint from a capital and personnel standpoint has increased. There are challenging decisions before us, but our community of believers can solve these challenges together. Our goals and work to attain these goals must be clear. Let's all increase expectations for and of ourselves in relation to our children. We will commit to focusing, measuring, and articulating to the community with clarity where we are progressing and where there are challenges with transparency. We cannot allow any child or any school to fail. In short, APS is getting back to the basics and taking advantage of the tremendous opportunity ahead of us. As I mentioned earlier, this year's State of the District approach is a bit different. No pomp, no circumstance, just work. We are focused on our children and our community of believers to ensure that our children become those we quote during a State of the District many years from now. Over the next several weeks, we will dive deeper into what this back to basics approach and becoming one district with one goal focused on every child will entail. You will hear from different departments and areas around key strategic efforts. Additionally, there will be community engagement opportunities as our board sets goals, we develop a budget, and finalize a strategic plan that addresses all of our students' needs. Please also log on to atlantapublicschools.us/everychild to read a recap of my first 100 days and to receive additional updates. We want and we need to hear from you. Thank you for your support and for being a committed partner. Now let's get to work.
So I wanted to make sure everyone had an opportunity to see the State of the District video and what's to come and what we're working on and the challenges that we have. And as a board, we are supporting the work of the district, but we also have to do our part. In the weeks to come, you will see the board start engaging in goal setting, which is required for us to set our goals and develop the strategic plan. Well, we don't develop the strategic plan. We set the goals for the district to develop the strategic plan. And that's going to be our roadmap, a guiding plan of implementation for the next 6 years. So this is why it's important to engage with our community, to hear your voice, know what your values are, and what's important to you for your students, for your community, in APS. With that being said, I'll go through our quick presentation and just give you some updates. We had our board meeting on Monday, and I wanted to just kind of discuss what we voted on and the action that the board member take, the highlights and recognitions of student achievement, and also just some FYIs. So jump right into it. Can you see the screen? Okay, great. Let me see if I can do a full screen. All right, full screen. There we go. So I am Erika Mitchell. I am the District 5 representative. I've been on the board elected since 2018. Don't want to go through all of this, but I did the last meeting. Just for those who are new, I served in different capacity outside of a board member role, within the board member role, but then we have external and internal committees. Some of the external committees are Atlanta Beltline Board of Directors, Atlanta Continuum of Care Governing Council, Policy Care, and a member. This is a extended organization from HUD. So we help place families in the city limits of Atlanta, ensuring that they have housing, whether it's an apartment, condo, or a home. So we work with different partners in the city to ensure that we can provide the housing for our APS families and anyone living in the city limits of Atlanta. The quickest we can find housing is 45 days. And so I've been working with this council since 2022. And we partner with the city to do affordable housing and a lot of different projects that you might see going on. But policy care. I ensure that policies are equitable and that they're serving all people that live in the city of Atlanta, and that there's no barriers for people to receive the services that we provide. I participated in the Aspiring Coaches for the Council of Great City Schools, which focus on the framework student outcomes that we are working with as a school board and administration. I served for 2 years as the Urban Boards Alliance Committee under the Consortium of State School Board Associations. I am a delegate for the Georgia School Board Association and Council of Great City Schools. In the past, I've served on the National School Board, Urban Boards of Education, Steering Committee, Vice Chair, Policy and Resolution Chair, also National Black Council School Board members, Secretary of Policy, and in my role in APS, not only I'm the board chair, District 5 board member, I also serve as policy chair, and I'm on the audit committee. Today we honor the founder, Carter G. Woodson, who established the first Black History Week, which was the National Negro History Week. And now we celebrate not just a week, a month in February, honoring our people in our communities and the people who've come before us as we celebrate their achievements and the things they've done in our community. And so today, I just always like to highlight in the month of February, Carter G. Woodson. We did name a school after Carter G. Woodson in 1976, which was the Carter G. Woodson Elementary School. That school has now merged with Woodson Park. No, I'm sorry, Grove Park. And it was Woodson Park Elementary School. And then when I came on the board, it was transitioning into Woodson Park Elementary KIPP Partner School. So as you go into this school, you still see some of the murals of Carter G. Woodson and some of his famous quotes. So we honor him for giving us the opportunity to share the impact that African Americans have made in this country during the month of February. With that being said, I know the last meeting I spoke about the renaming of Best Academy. Just want to reiterate that we did rename Best Academy to Best at the Thomas W. Deutsch Jr. Institute. We kept the name Best, but we wanted to add Mr. Deutsch's name to the school because of the work and the impact that he had with the 100 Black men, being able to support the school in the way that they have with the mentoring program with resources. And so with Mr. Deutsch being the former national chairman of the 100 Black Men and a long history of working with the 100 Black Men for decades, it just felt like it was a fitting honor for someone who has made a huge impact in the community, within the civic community as well, but in the educational community, and all the work that he's done and continue the work and motivate our students to live up to the name Thomas W. Deutsch. So just wanted to make sure that I had an opportunity to share that with you because I didn't in January and we renamed the school in December 14th. With that being said, I do want to highlight some student achievement. This came in late last week, but we highlighted it at our board meeting on Monday is our NAEP results. APS was one of the largest urban districts to increase by 6.9 percentage from 2022 to 2024 and fourth grade reading across the nation. So I do want to highlight some of those achievements. Our students are working hard, our teachers are working hard, and so you can see the uphill climb with the graph that we're going in the right direction and we're getting the work done. So also on Monday, we had two hearings, the homestead exemption hearing. We had one at 10 a.m. We had one at 6 p.m. right before our board meeting. And we will have another one Monday, February 10th at 6 p.m. The board will take action on the resolution on March 1st to opt out. And I think that is our position, to opt out on the homestead exemption. Anyone is welcome to come to the hearing. Anyone is open to email us if you have any questions, concern. But this is the stance that the school district has taken. And so we will be opting out of House Bill 581 homestead exemption. And this gets some key reasons why when you look at the pros and cons. The pros is targeted relief directly to homeowners, provide predictability for both APS and homeowners, expedite millage rate adoption process, and limit other property taxes legislations. That is the pros. The cons are of opting out is decisions is permanent after the initial opt-out. significantly reducing local revenue, and limits government local control. As our February board meeting recap, we had a full day. I do want to announce, and I didn't put it in here, but pre-K enrollment will be opening up February 17th. So those who want to or are interested in enrolling their students in pre-K, you have that opportunity. It will open up February 17th. In the board meeting, we took action on a couple of financial things. I'm not going to go through line by line, but these are the financial actions that we took at our February board meeting this past Monday. We did have a budget adjustment, which was the increase of $5.3 million for Title I carryover in special revenues, and then request and consolidate $2.3 million that will consolidation into general funds. Budget committee meets once a month if anyone wants to tune in, and that's chaired by board member Katie Howard. We also went over our student outcome focused governance monitoring report for Guardrail 4, which is the college and career readiness performance index and readiness indicator for student increase. And we had an increase 1.3 points above the goal, which was set and between the goal of 62.7% for 2024-2025. And all of this information can be found on Assembly and also on our YouTube channel for people who would like to go back to review some of this information. And what I love the most is highlighting our students. Yes. We recognize our students who have made significant achievement on the MAP assessment. But first, I would like to say that we had a wonderful performance from Howard Middle School. For their chorus came to perform a couple of songs for us right before the board meeting, before we kicked it off. And then we recognized Parkland Elementary third grade teacher, Dina Daughtery, who achieved the highest percentage in MAP assessments. And then we recognized 11 APS students who won the Posey Scholarship. And then we also recognized schools that participated in the annual Helen Ruffin Reading Bowl, which I attend every year now, and it's a lot of competition. And I commend those students for reading those books and being able to remember and comprehend stories out of the books. And they competed, and the competition was fierce. It was serious. I was amazed. The kids did a wonderful job, and I love us being able to support these kids in this way. Also special recognition. This is just a list of who won the scholarships, and then the Helen Ruffin Reading Bowl from last Saturday. So I just wanted to take a minute for you all to see and highlight our students and the work that they are doing. And policy recap. I am now chairing the policy committee, and this is just something I love to share to everyone. We did have opportunity to discuss the discipline policy and some changes that will be made with those discipline policies. And I just to recap a little bit so that you understand the direction that the district is going into with implementation of these changes. With the student discipline policy, the administration provide a recap of internal work related to key student discipline policy, including out-of-school suspension for elementary students and disciplinary consequences for McKinney-Vento students, penalties for tardiness and skipping class. Basically, what we're doing is allowing the cluster superintendent to approve out-of-school suspension if it exceeds over 3 days for elementary students. This came out of a decision. We had a committee of principals and community members who wanted to have it as an option, but allow the cluster superintendents to make that decision based on the facts and the findings that they are received from the principal and the parents of the students, and it's just not done from the principal level. These updates will be incorporated in the code of conduct. So the cluster superintendent also have the opportunity how we discipline McKinney-Vento students that are homeless as well, with out of school suspension, and then the penalties of tardiness and skipping class as well. We promoted the we moved the promotion and retention policy to first read by the board on Monday, and basically it's students that are over age and not in the proper grade have an opportunity to not be held back, but also be promoted to the right grade, but having the supports that they need to succeed in those classes. And so we wouldn't have a 15-year-old in the 8th grade. So we're looking at what is needed for that student, individual learning plans, the support they need to ensure that our students are in the right grades and that they have the support that they need, and then that don't fall behind. And we also review the staff conflict of interest policy. And then also from a board level, we start our discussions with the policy diet. Policy diet, it won't happen until after our goals and guardrails are adopted and the strategic plan. This gives us an opportunity to reevaluate our policies to ensure that they are aligned with our goals and that they're streamlined and effective in how we operate as a district. Legislative priorities, I brought this up last time and they're still the same. They haven't changed. But if we have an update for March as we go closer into ending legislative session, I will have updates of where we are with our priorities. So key priorities are kind of simplifying APS property exchange with the city of Atlanta, support gun safety storage legislation. That is very key with the gun violence that have happened. And some parents have experience with their students. I am an advocate for some legislation and education around gun safety storage. Also, protect local board authority in selecting instructional material. Again, you all elect us as your board member. We go out into the community to hear your vision, your values, and what's important to you, and we bring that back to the district. And the district put together what the students need based on what the parents advocate for. And so continue to have that local control and customize instruction material for students is going to be key. Other priorities: preserve APS property tax base, advocate for Medicaid expansion to support health services in schools, and defend the civil rights of students and staff. And then we have our legislative liaisons on the board, and also Erika Long, who's been big with helping with pushing our legislative priorities in our lobbyist firm to ensure that we come out with some of these priorities achieved. So that's just kind of what they're doing during this time frame. The other thing I do want to share with you all is our upcoming breakfast with the board with our students. So this year we're doing something different. We have middle school and high school. So this gives us a more in-depth opportunity to engage with our feeder middle schools into the high schools and kind of hear from what the students want. I always say you know what you need to do when you talk to the students. They will tell you everything. They are so honest and passionate about school and life. It's just this is one of the times of the year I like, because I love to hear from the students, and this gives us a perspective on why we serve. When you You get down in the ground, you know, in the schools with the students. It allows you to reflect on your purpose. So I love this time of the year when we're able to, outside of graduation, but this is a good time too. But we're able to engage with our students, and so this is our upcoming schedule. We have one on Friday, and we'll go to March 20th. We already had several of them already last week and last month, and so this is a continual schedule of breakfast with the board. And that is all my updates and ways that you can keep in contact with me. This is my cell number here, my website, of course, and then email address, my district email address, and then social media. Other than that, this is my, I guess, high-level overview of the community meeting, and I am open for questions.
All right. Excuse me, board. So board chair Mitchell, if I may. So
Yes,
good
it's on you.
evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for our February District 5 community meeting with board member and board chair Erika Mitchell. This is the opportunity for you guys to engage directly with her. So if you have any concerns with District 5, or even concerns or just anything positive to highlight, we do ask that you use the raise hand feature. And we'll place you into the queue, and we'll take you as we see your hands appear. So we will stand by and wait to see if we have any engagement. Board Chair Mitch, I'm not seeing any. I think you did a great job. Oh, we got Miss Ebony. Okay. So we got Miss Ebony. I spoke too soon. Miss Ebony, how are you?
I'm fine. You're okay. I was trying to
You was
do
trying
it
to
quick.
find it, huh?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. I'm on a different device.
No problem at all. The floor is
and,
yours.
and please pardon my not being on camera. I'm still in here in parent family mode. Good evening to you all, and hello to you, board member Mitchell. Thank you all for the information. I just want to give you all kudos for all the work you're doing, and your transparency in the work you're doing, especially as someone who has a student that's in the special education division. Thank you for that. And I just wanted to also share that there will be in the coming weeks, we'll be sharing more information about a healthcare focused school that I'm part of a team that's proposing that. And so we'll share more information with the community to get you all's feedback. And also we have a petition that we'll be sharing as well. And I just wanted to share that with you all as me being the community engagement specialist on that team.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Johnson. We'll be looking forward to that information.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Our next speaker is JD, and then we'll go to Ms. Lang. Good evening, JD.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jennifer. I am a stakeholder, former educator, and I'm still actively engaged with Atlanta Public School students. I did hear about the revamp that's going to happen with Atlanta Public Schools, but I still have concerns with being in the schools on the daily basis. With the reading on middle school level, students that are unable to read, and I'm actually in the school. So I'm witnessing that there are students in middle school that are not reading. My biggest concern is that they're trickling through the system and they make it through high school and they're not reading. So I know that APS is in the process of doing away with positions, and I don't know who makes the decision about the positions. For example, I was told that the media specialists will be gone. Well, it's up to the principals, and you're going to keep the ETS. I'm not sure how that came about. I know they're in the same department. The media specialists actually touch the children. So they're working with the students mostly on the regular basis. If you ask most of the employees in Atlanta Public School who is your ETS, they would not be able to tell you. So I'm just trying to figure out, why are there so many cushion positions in Atlanta Public Schools, people that are with these titles that are not touching and really impacting the children. A lot of these people with these positions, and we could talk more later, Erika, you and I, but a lot of people in these positions, they are giving teachers more work to do. And the children are not being serviced. If you actually go into the school, and we see all the good things, and I'm very proud of all the things that you mentioned, those things are happening, but a lot of the children are slipping through the cracks, and it's just being completely ignored. We focus on the ones who are doing well, but what about the ones who are not? Yeah. There's no reading. Like in middle school, there should be a reading specialist. If there's a school that has high discipline problems, you should have behavior specialists in that school, maybe 2 or 3. The counselors are not counseling the students. They should be pulling them. You have children in middle school that come to school smelling like urine. The social workers should be helping and dressing these children. You mentioned about the homeless, and we don't know, I don't know where they're coming from, but we can talk later, and I can give you the schools and tell you, and I've addressed this concern with the principal in an email. I plan to resend it again. So these are the things we really need to focus on. I mean, it's good that those children are doing well, but what about these babies that are not reading? They're going to go to high school and they're still not reading. Why are there not reading specialists? Why are these people not doing their jobs? You got ESOL, we got non-English speaking. I haven't seen, I'm doing a long term, I haven't seen an ESOL teacher yet but one time. But I'm saying all of these people have positions and people are not working. And it's coming from our taxpaying money. And it's so frustrating. And I do not have a child in the system. My child is grown. She's in her career. So I'm paying taxes for, and then the sad part about it, and I say it all the time, now that I'm retired, I'm able to sub throughout the district. I go to the north side, Brandon, Morningside, Garden Hills, Bolton Academy. You don't see that. You know what those people are doing? They're pulling those students, working with them. If the students are low, they pull them out. And they're gone for a long period of time. I'm a product of Atlanta Public Schools. I went to Collier Heights, Thicket, Bunch, graduated from Mays. When I was in school, Title I, they pulled the students who needed help with math. They pulled the students who needed help with reading. We're not doing that on the South Side. You again have these people in these positions, EIP positions. They're not working with the children. And again, ask the teachers. You send out the survey every year. People don't complete it because they're afraid. They can't speak the truth. But if you actually go into the schools, you will see it. And if you really talk to the teacher, if you genuinely care, you go in and talk to the teachers, they'll let you know we have a lot of children that's not reading. The middle school they're not reading. And so what, they're doing well on the MAP test or whatever test, they might just have done well. But people who work, the teachers who are working with the students every single day, they know what those students can really do. But we look at the data. But I'm not going to take any more time. I just want to speak that. I've said it before and I'm going to continue to say it because I'm concerned. This is our future. You don't know how these children will come back around in your life. And we're cheating them, especially our children. Again, it's a big difference on the north side than it is on the south side. It's night and day, and those people are working. I'm not saying things are perfect over there. I'm just telling you my experience from when I go and work. Even the students, you know, they're focused. They know their educational track. First graders at Brandon told me, Miss Graham, so what schools have you subbed at? Oh, I've subbed at a lot of schools. I've subbed at most of all of the elementary schools at APS except for 11. The students are telling me when they get to 4th grade, they're going to Leavitt. When they get to 5th grade, they're going to Westminster. These are first graders who know their educational track. Our children, we're dealing with discipline, attitudes, disrespect. I taught for 31 years and had never been disrespected till I was at one school and the little boy used the word bitch. Third grade. So this is what we're dealing with. The teachers are dealing with behavior problems and there's no support with the behavior problems. But they should have something in place. If you have a school with high behavior problems, again, like I just said, have 3 behavior specialists. You have students that are not reading, have a reading specialist that's really teaching reading, not somebody giving teachers resources. Teachers don't need that. You can get all that stuff on the internet. I mean, you know, we're just wasting money and it's frustrating to me because our children are the ones that are being hurt.
Yeah.
So I would email you and we can meet and talk further. I can give you the schools and the social workers need to do their work. Children shouldn't have to sit and smell like urine. I don't care what their home life is. We have to do our part. And if you're sitting in that building, you should be doing something. Counselors too. Counseling these children. Why are they misbehaving? That's not being done. And it's not fair to the teachers because we're doing so much extra and everybody else is sitting around. So I'll shoot you an email. You can reach out to me and let me know when we can get together. And we can discuss further and I can give you the schools and maybe share emails with you.
Yes, ma'am. I sent you a direct message with my information.
You did?
Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Graham. And so our next speaker is Margaret, followed by the Honorable Mabel Thomas. You're still on mute.
Okay. Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to also affirm the last speaker. So one thing I have sometimes seen in the district is we have these amazing women that they're everywhere and they're seeing everything and we don't always keep them in the loop. And this is a free focus group on what we need to work on. So I just wanted to affirm as well, like, it's really great that she was able to attend. I think the fact that you're doing some of these engagement things at 6:30 and it's available virtually increases the people who have been able to get off work and pick up their kids and stuff so they can actually participate. And so that's how we're hearing these like really important voices. So I really can't thank that person enough for like speaking up. Now, in terms of special ed, I just wanted to mention I was at the District 3 community engagement. That was at Burgess Peterson. And we had some good tables. It's a lovely space. There were 2 parents at the very first 10 minutes, and I was the only parent from about, let's see, it started at 5, from about 5:15 until 6:20 when they packed up. I was the only parent. I brought up my concerns about how we communicate and how we get the word out. I was met with a lot of defensiveness. And I don't know to what extent this is old culture from administration or old culture from special ed, but we still have some defensive to work on. And so what I hear is people working for the district, they're like, well, I did all this communication. I did this and this and this, so people just aren't coming. And the thing is, I think it's a problem regardless. If the problem is that people are just lazy, they just don't want to show up, that's still a problem because that means our parents aren't engaged, right? Now, as a parent who's been kind of trying to be up in everything, and my friends are usually the people who are all up in everything. The only reason I know what's going on now is because I'm on APS Special Ed Families now, and I'm an admin, and people are sending us stuff to post us, and 2 of the people are on the Special Ed Advisory Committee. Otherwise, I wouldn't know. Last year, I got APS-wide emails, and sometimes they had the link to a parent cafe or something like that. Sometimes they didn't. You know, sometimes we found out about the Special Ed Expo like a month before. Sometimes we found out a day before. And, you know, part of the defensiveness is that people say they're contacting the schools. Now, most of the time, even in a special ed class, you don't even find out about an important field trip until like less than 24 hours before. And the reason is, and the thing is, this even happened at BAMO, and I love BAMO. If y'all are just like, I'm going to be mean to BAMO, I'm going to be mad at y'all because BAMO does an amazing job in every other respect. And the district-wide, the things about like school-wide engagement from them, they use the APS automated messenger. So as far as school-wide events, it's not about special ed, it's about everybody. I knew everything that was happening all the time because she got on that APS Now thing, and we were so engaged. Like they really went on engagement there. But when it comes to special ed things, it's just lost. And my teacher communicates well with me, but it's just what she's getting. So either things are getting lost in between that email or mailing going out in the school, or there's a problem with what bucket it goes into. And I think often what happens, even with well-meaning schools trying to do their best, is they're thinking, let's give this to K, to 1, to 2, to 3, to 4, to 5. And then there's not a bucket for special ed. They're not thinking about it because it's not a grade. And it seems to happen north and south and everywhere. It's just like an organizational issue that falls through the cracks. And so regardless, it's not getting through. And then I think the other piece that happens is that people have a lot. They're just doing a lot. And if I were going to do something that one of the autism specialists that I got a diagnosis or a re-diagnosis from, if I did everything they told me to do in terms of all the tutorings, all the therapies, all the after school things, I literally couldn't go to the bathroom. There wouldn't be time. I would be more stressed out than an Amazon factory worker. Okay. Like there would be like no time to sleep. It's impossible. So the parents who are really engaged, doing everything they possibly can for their kids, they have negative amounts of free time. They're not even sleeping enough. So the idea that they're going to get in at 5:30 on a weekday, like they're going to need a blast from the universe that it's important. They're going to need like 6 weeks in advance. You know, they need all this kind of things because they have to rearrange their lives around it. You know, therapists, like if you're seeing a therapist for your child, like a specialist, they often don't have a lot of spare time. You are having to rearrange your whole life around when you can see the psychologist or when you can see the speech therapist. Like they just have a lot going on. So I do realize that they don't want to do engagement events on a Saturday at 10 a.m. But maybe to reach some of these parents, they might have to, you know, like it might be whenever they can drop off the kids at grandma or whatever format that they could like get the kids their snacks and their books and their headphones and all their things so they can bring them and really bring them along to the event. You know, that's, you know, it might need to be that the event is in a place where there's extra people to watch out for that kid if the kid has some elopement issues, but they need to bring that kid with elopement issues in order to participate. Because, you know, some of the kids whose parents most need to be involved are the ones with the elopement issues. You know, they're the ones with this strong behavioral problems. So, you know, we're not really bringing them along. And then we're wondering like why we're so in the tank with these sixth graders not reading. You know, we don't know what's going on with them because we haven't been able to engage them. But I feel like asking them to all be a middle class lady whose husband has the real job, who can just like, you know, hire a sitter at the last minute and show up is just not something that everybody's life is. You know, those people already left on SB 10 schools for the most part. And, you know, and I feel like right now the attitude is sort of just like, well, if you don't like it, you just go to an SB 10 school. And I don't think we do enough to really try to keep people in. And that's one thing I brought up at the engagement session. And what I heard was that, well, SB 10 schools are sometimes just a better fit for people.
Oh.
But that doesn't sound like pulling people into the district. That sounds like pushing people out. And, you know, like the thing is, we're not meeting the spirit and the energy and the intent of IDEA, which is the least restrictive environment, unless we are trying to make the ideal of like a kid can go into Jackson and they can do orchestra, they can do French, they can do this and that. Unless we're aspiring towards that and trying to make a path for that, we're not really trying to make it fully accessible. So the idea that like, oh, it's just going to be, some kids are just going to have to leave, like, is not really what we should be doing. And I think we're also losing some talent from some parents, you know, when we push people out. Like some of our parents, the parents who are able to make that gap in between the SB 10 funding and the scholarship, you know, because it's never the full amount of the school. The people who can come up with that extra money, who are able to do all those applications and get their kid in, they're also really engaged people with a lot of knowledge. And they would be great participants in our school. So we really should be wrapping them in and not pushing them out. And I think our engagement is part of the piece of that. Like we need to wrap in our high knowledge parents like back into the school system as well. And that I think will be increasingly important as our Title I funding is in jeopardy at the national level. You know, like when I help a parent, nobody's paid me. You know, I'm doing that for free. And I'm not magic, but I can tell you I had this experience that was good. I had this experience that was bad. Like I did an autism classroom. This worked and this didn't, you know, and that's a skill. And we're not really tapping our peer-to-peer talent the way we could.
Gotcha. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna give you my information so me and you can sit down and talk, because you have a lot of knowledge on what is happening, and it might help some of
Oh,
the
and I've
things.
already been doing some sort of clandestine peer-to-peer meetings with board members and stuff instead of doing real engagement sessions because they won't like do enough peer-to-peer engagement. So I already did a meeting with Ken Zeff and Katie Howard and some parents, and I've done one with Cynthia Brown. And I had better attendance at my meetings than I saw Monday. And this is just me, myself, and I. I represent the law firm of me, myself, and I've been able to put together these meetings by myself. So like, I just think we could do, if I can do better,
Yeah,
engaging parents, and I'm just me, and I'm not even like that organized, then the district should be able to.
thank you. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. And just FYI, we are at 7:31, Board Chair Mitchell. And so we'll go to Ms. Thomas, and then we'll turn it back over to you to offer some closing remarks.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Good evening, the Honorable Mabel Thomas.
Uh-oh, lost.
She's still there with us. Let me see.
Me text her. Mabel.
I just asked her to unmute. Let's see. Did we lose her?
I don't know. Let me send her a quick text.
Okay.
Is it my time to speak yet?
Oh, there you go. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. And I really do appreciate the update. I haven't been to a school board member in a minute, so it was good to be able to hear this update. But now I got two questions. You can explain it, but you got to give me a little bit more insight. Honorable Erika, you said that y'all opt out of the homestead exemption. What does that mean? I mean, in terms of, was a bill put in place, or what does that mean?
So it's HB 581, the homestead exemption. What is it called? Okay, let me bring it up for you. Give me 1 second. Okay. So with the homestead exemption 581, we and districts across the state of Georgia have opt out, because what it does is it holds the taxes at a permanent like place. Like there's no flexibility. And so it will just maintain whatever it is at, which is good for some homeowners because it doesn't fluctuate. But then it won't allow us to you know, I guess what I'm trying to say, if there was a situation where we could give some tax relief, we couldn't, because we have to stay where it's at. And that's like kind of like the fixed rate, the tax rate. So that's one of the reasons why I think a lot of school districts in Georgia, not just Atlanta Public Schools, decided to opt out of it.
Well, originally was 581 supposed to give tax relief? What were they trying to accomplish as you see it about it?
And then
What
here's
were
the
they
thing,
trying
we
to accomplish?
haven't yeah, and so here's the other thing. We have not raised our millage rate in 13 years. So I do want you know, take that in consideration too, as well. So how it does, and the reason we don't want to cap on property values to increase for homestead properties and limits the revenue of growth for prior years for the consumer price index, could be inflation, right? So we want to keep it it flexible, and not be locked into a certain tax rate. And so that's one of the reasons why we decided to opt out.
Now, what is there, any relief, that they have for seniors or people who make under a certain income? I thought it was some type of bill that passed prior to this one. But they're supposed to give some tax exemption for 65 years and older, but I don't know if
It's
it
the
affects the
senior
school board.
homestead tax exemption. I think it was passed last year for
Okay,
seniors. Hmm.
okay. And then the other thing is somebody brought this to me, and I was like, I never thought about this, but somebody says that in public education, uh, that they don't teach kids to write in cursive no more. Is that true? Remember we had to do, we growing up when we used to
Yeah, I
graduate?
know when we were growing up, we had to learn in cursive. It is, and I will say this. So when my daughter's in 4th and 5th grade, they had the opportunity to engage them with in cursive writing.
Hmm.
It wasn't like it was mandatory when we were growing up in our day or what have you, but they do touch on it. They do get the experience. They do, bring home their work and they show how they're writing in there. But I mean, it wasn't like it was, in the, I don't know, back in the day. I don't want to say back in the day, but in the past where it was kind of a mandatory that you knew how to write in cursive. This is something that they have the opportunity to learn, but it's not mandatory that they do. So I do want to say they do have they do have the exposure to it. Um, all schools are able to expose their students to it in cursive writing.
But let me just talking like just as this person thinking, how does
Mhm.
it affect them? I guess they know how to recognize their name in cursive, but how does it affect them? Um, when they have to be to learn to do their signature, right? Or
Yes.
maybe, yeah. But if somebody wrote something in cursive, they might not be able to read it at all, right?
Yeah, maybe. I will tell you the Constitution is in cursive, right? The United States Constitution is written in cursive.
That's
There's a
right.
lot of things that is written in cursive. Um, that was one of the reasons why we had to learn to write in cursive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is new school now. I mean, they have
Yeah.
technology, they have AI, they got everything else, and AI is one of the tools that will um, translate in cursive. So things are
Wow.
just a little bit more faster now, and I will say
Wow.
that. But yeah, it has changed. The digital age and AI is changing how we teach, and we use it. I tell people if you're exposed to it, you can use it as a tool, and it can be helpful. It can really be
Mm-hmm.
helpful. But the students are able to have exposure to in cursive in school.
Wow. Okay,
Things
because
are
when I
different.
brought that to my attention, I was like, what? I just assumed,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay. I
yeah.
appreciate that.
So it's a little different, but yeah. Hmm.
All right. Now, as board chair, as that, so basically you have to deal with all of the city, but what areas how is it set up? If I know when Byron was there, he was District 2, but he represented City Council 3 and 4. So what areas do you represent in terms of the City Council?
So I have City Council District 9 and 10, which make up my one school board district. And
Mm-hmm.
that is Representative Dustin Hill is with District 9, Representative Andrea Boone with District 10. The clusters that I serve is the Douglas cluster and the Mays clusters.
Okay. Okay. All
And
right.
then I go
Thank you.
into like my North Atlanta families. I go into like the Underwood Hill area, which is close to like E River, but I don't have any of the schools. I have kind of the neighborhoods in those areas. It's kind of South
Mm-hmm.
Buckhead.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So those are my areas.
Okay, good. I really thank you and I appreciate you. And I don't get to see a lot. I did get to see you at the Washington High School thing
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
they celebrated the 100th year of
Mm-hmm.
Washington High School. So I did get a chance to see you then, but I do appreciate your work.
All right, thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So Board Chair Mitchell, it's on to you to provide us some closing remarks. And
Yep. So we're wrapping up. We're just a little bit over 7:30. Don't want to hold everybody, but those people who I messaged directly, I will definitely follow up with you. And then also I will publish my March meeting dates, and we'll continue to touch base every month for updates, like you know how we're doing, what's coming new. Any questions, concerns, or anything, you can always reach out to us. But also just keep in mind, we'll be rolling out some dates for our engagement sessions that are going to happen where we discuss the goals and guardrails, and being able to get that information from you so we can develop our goals and guardrails for the district. So other than that, I hope you all have a good night, and I look forward to seeing you either at a board meeting, at one of our school events, or on the Zoom in March with my community meeting. So thank you and good evening. Good night.
have a great night, everyone.
You too.
All right, thank you.
Be blessed, everybody.
All right, you too, Mr. Dorsey.
Yes, Mr. Dorsey. Hey, Mr. Dorsey. Did he go already?
Yes, ma'am.
I saw you walking out of Planet Fitness 2 weeks ago.
All right.
You're keeping it going.
Mr. Dorsey's trying to
Yes.
stay young on us. He's trying to
I
stay
know. But it's good to see you, but it's good to hear your voice. I look forward to seeing you in the community.
Thank you now.
All right. Good night,
Bye-bye.
everyone.